This is an update on the last video I did, which was my various homemade motorbikes. That video is just the ones that run. This is a video of everything I built. This is not everything. Some things I built, they didn't work, and I didn't want to keep them. They were just taking up room, so I took them apart. I have pictures of them. Not that great pictures, but they're still pictures, and I'll upload those at the end of this video. Let's first start with this thing. This thing is obviously missing a front wheel. It was one of those skiddy bike, drift trike things I built. I built this thing 2 years ago. I've had it for a year, and I just never really rode it, so I took the wheel off and used it for something else. And then I'm eventually just gonna take the entire thing apart and use the metal somewhere else. This thing used to be a push mower, but I added the seat, added the steering to where I could ride it. So this is my mini riding mower. Yeah, so this is my mini riding mower. The only reason this works is because it has a 3-speed clutch in the back, which needs replacing right now. It doesn't work. I used to mow the lawn with this thing, but I need to replace the back wheels and the clutch, and then I can continue mowing the lawn with this thing. I had built it I built it over the winter. I did not design it to mow the lawn, and then when I realized I could mow the lawn with this, then I put the bag on it and mowed the lawn with it. So I need to fix it so I can, and it's a 5.5 horsepower motor on it. This thing is my ATV. It's a 4-track 70. I don't know how many horsepower. I bought it from my neighbor for $40. It doesn't run. The clutch broke. I'm sure if I just took the time, took it apart, fixed the clutch, whatever's wrong with it, maybe it's like something just broke, I need to replace it, it'll run, right? It'll run again. But I just never really rode it that much to fix it, so it just kind of like takes up space. I kind of wanted to sell it, and I kind of can't sell it if it's broken. So this is my mini bike. This was actually my very first motorized bicycle I had. My dad found it in a dumpster 4 or 5 or 6 years ago, and he gave it to me for Christmas. I replaced the motor, and I replaced the back wheel. It runs great. It's pretty fun. The brake kind of doesn't work, but it's still fun. It doesn't really go that fast though. This is my Go-Kart. I spent $500 on it. I built it over the fall last year, I think. Yeah. And I spent $500 on it. I didn't spend it all at once. Trust me, if I did, I would never have done it. As you can see, there's no motor. It's because it doesn't work. My design for making it work, it never worked out. It'd be great for somebody in Florida, where they had a giant parking lot to just putt. This thing is so slow. It didn't go up a hill. It didn't have any brakes. It never worked out. I ended up spending $500 on it, and it never worked out. So yeah, I took the motor off and used it for other purposes. And I also took apart, all the other mechanical stuff. There's some stuff I can salvage out of this thing still, but I just haven't taken the time to take this thing fully apart to salvage everything. But eventually I will. So yeah, this was not actually my only go-kart I built. I had built this other go-kart. We called it the wooden go-kart because it was made out of 2x4s. It had a 4 horsepower motor on it that was a lawnmower. It never worked. The steering was in the back. I'll post pictures of it at the end of the video. It just never worked. There's no brakes. There's no way to stop. To turn right, you had to steer left, and to turn left, you had to steer right. So yeah, it was like going backwards, only worse. You couldn't stop. So I ended up taking that thing apart, but I have pictures of it. This thing is what I call the death bike. It is, as you can see, it doesn't have a motor. The motor right now is in the very last bike. The motor was a 6.5 horsepower motor. This thing was so fast that I was just scared to ride it. The front thing was at an angle to where if there's a certain way, if you turn the handlebar a certain degree, and if you leaned a certain way, it was just this like this pivot point where you just basically stop. So yeah, it never worked out. If you wanted to turn, you basically had to stop. And sorry, my phone cut out for some reason. But as I was saying, this is a 11-inch hub, and it went to a 1-inch hub on the motor. So that's the only gear reduction it had. I had welded it onto the chain sprocket, and as you can see, this sprocket is the same size as this sprocket. So there was absolutely no gear, and this is actually in the slowest gear. So it had no torque, it had incredible speed. I think it topped out in first speed at like 40 miles an hour, but it took like, a quarter mile to get up to that speed. But and that was in first gear. I didn't even get into the second gear. I was too scared to. But I took it apart. I took the motor off. I didn't take it apart. I took the motor off and put it on the mini motorcycle. I'll show you that in a second. And I just don't really want to take this thing apart because I spent so long on it, and eventually I'll, put the motor back on and do a video of me riding it to show you guys how fast this thing really is. And it only has one brake, so yeah, this thing's basically a death trap. And here's my this is friction drive. It has this little hub, where is it? This little hub thing that sticks out right here that spins. The thing is not always on the wheel. There's space in between it. All I have to do is step on this little thing, and it engages onto the wheel. I've never seen that design anywhere, but I'd really recommend it if you're doing a friction drive. Therefore, you can stop, while the motor's running. This, my dad's worker gave this to me. He apparently some guy left it in his yard, so he gave it to me. This thing's and that's a 49cc motor, so it's legal to ride it on the roads, but I haven't yet because I don't really want to get caught if it is illegal. But this is a 39cc motor on on just a regular bike. The chain skips a lot. The motor doesn't run yet. I need to replace the bulb. The bulb is broken, but hopefully once I replace the bulb, then it runs. This design is constantly on the tire, so if you had to stop, there's only two ways to stop, which is either cut the motor off with a power switch, or just stop until the motor dies, which would probably tear up your tire and kind of take forever to stop. But so yeah, those are my two friction drive bikes. This thing, is my 6.5 horsepower motor mini. I call it the mini motorcycle because this thing is ridiculously fast. That motor was on the death bike and was on the go-kart, but I took it off because those really didn't work. I believe it has 1/16 gear reduction because this thing is on first gear. This is 1 inch, this is 8 inch, and this is 1 inch, and this is 8 inch. So I believe that works out to 1/16 gear reduction, I believe. If I'm wrong, post in the comments, but so yeah, I'll do a video of me riding this thing to show you guys how fast it is, and this thing is incredibly fun. It has 2 speeds. The first speed is ridiculously slow. I can run faster than this thing in first gear, but it has a lot of torque, so therefore I can climb up basically any hill there is. And then second speed is ridiculously fast. So this thing is like by far the best thing I have right now. So yeah, these are my motorized things. I think these are like 8. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Not including the non-motorized thing over there. So yeah, I have 8. This is not all of them. I'll post pictures of the other things at the end of this video. Thank you for watching. Leave a comment below and tell me what you think. And have a nice day. Normally I just put music in this part, but YouTube doesn't allow me to do that anymore. So I'm just gonna narrate what this is. The first one was the mini riding mower. This one's the death bike as it was being built. Yeah. This one is the mini bike. It was pretty small. That thing was like built for a 5-year-old. There it is again on the floor. The motor was three horsepower, and it did not work at all. That's me welding on the death bike. Why is it sideways? I have no idea. That's the Viper bike before I put that wooden peg on it, and that's the ATV when it was running. And let's go to the next. This is the, oh my gosh, this is the wooden go-kart as it was being built. And moving on to that's the wooden go-kart again. You can see that 2x4, and where right in front of the motor, where that's where you put your feet and steer. There's the propulsion system. It did not work whatsoever. And yeah, there it is again. Those 2x4s next to the seat, that's what you stop, and that's the gas, the brake, and the clutch. There's the actually, me and my friends called that the old man cart, because when you ride it, you look like an old man. There's the that skitty bike thing I built. That's being built, and this one is when it is done. You can see that thing was actually pretty fun, but I just had nowhere to ride it. That's the go-kart, and I think this is the last picture. Is it?